What's up, guys? This is a video I've been wanting to make for a while, but I really just pushed it away a little bit. But I thought I'd talk about it today. It's gonna be an interesting video. I'm actually really excited to talk about this. I mean, I say this a lot in my videos when I say it's gonna be an interesting video, but I mean this time, like I mean it, like mean it. This one's about industry plants. And why is this so interesting? Well, I haven't done a video like this really at all before, and I have a perception that a lot of other people might think about it, but a lot of people might not know. So, to my audience, I'll tell you what an industry plant is. Pretty much, it's somebody who is fabricating maybe their backstory or trying to cover it up when in reality they had an easy come up due to an industry or something like that. They may lie about how they came up, which coming up, and this normally only happens with artists, and coming up, it's like, it's one of the biggest parts of your career, right? So you don't want to be lying about it. But recently we've seen a lot of industry plants, and it's kind of weird. They've been on XXL trying to get on there. One of these, examples is Icy Norco. If you don't know who he has braids that I'm assuming his manager wanted him to wear, and his manager is actually Lil Pump's old manager. Now, Icy Norco, in my opinion, all of his music literally just sounds like other rappers' music. I mean, it's not necessarily bad, and I don't have anything against the person, just personally. But I mean, it just the thing is, I'll tell you what's wrong with being an industry plant in a second. But the problem with a lot of his music is it falls in this category where it just feels like it's the same, and it really just affects a lot of other people's. Which let's get right into that. So, why does an industry plant affect people? Well, let's start out with the first reason, and I heard this on a video by Progress. It can affect other people's careers on the billboard. An industry plant coming up so quickly, which is normally what they do with a fabricated backstory, it kind of affects other people. Now, why does this affect other people? Pretty much, it can affect their placement on Billboard. Billboard is, the top charts, like where you are. Somebody coming up so quickly, Billboard might mistaken it for a number one spot. And this is actually a big deal. It reflects on your sales and pretty much everything. But with this industry plant is pretty much taking the person's spot. And, that's a big problem considering they literally hardly have any work for it. Another problem with it being an industry plant, other than it affecting somebody else, it's the people who are industry plants normally have literally no physical control over what they're doing whatsoever. And a lot of the time, this leads them to not being able to produce music. Heck, in industry plants, two of these, I'm going to mention these, two industry plants that I didn't even think would be industry plants recently that I found out were, is Billie Eilish and Travis Scott. Travis Scott has a really, really weird backstory where he got on a plane. Somehow, some random person that was a really high social status wanted him on a track, and Travis said that he was friends with him. Next thing you know, that person brings in Kanye West or something like that, and all of a sudden, bam, everything just clicks. He said that he had nothing, but I mean, it's just obvious that some of this is fabricated. He even said in an interview, what makes what makes like you shoot up so high in this talent and all that stuff, or shoot up so high in like sales and all that stuff. And he just said talent. Well, I mean, anybody can really say that. This just makes you sound a lot more like an industry plant. And I mean, this is what Muggy said, and it's kind of goes for the same with me. I don't really have much respect for people who don't even just try to cover it up. But I do have respect for Travis Scott as he does make really, really good music, and he obviously has had some struggles. And I mean, he did have a year before I'd say a lot of this happened. He was making music, but not as much as he did when he started to blow up. So I mean, there's that. And then there's Billie Eilish, and this one kind of triggers me the most because you'll notice in interviews she switches up her backstory very mildly each time to the point where the final time she switches up her backstory, it's way different from the very first one. Like, at first she said that Ocean Eyes was for a school project, then in the next interview, it was only half her school project and she meant to put it on her SoundCloud. And then on top of that, she talks about how she never released any music before then. Then days later, she actually deletes all of her original music before Ocean Eyes. Which, I mean, saying that you don't have any original music before that just kind of makes you seem even more like an industry plant. On top of that, she just switches up her backstory after that so much that it's just kind of hard to follow. So it's kind of hard to say, what she said. But it's quite obviously, like, you can tell that she's, an industry plant just through this. Progress made some really good points about it. I'll link his video in the description for it. But yeah. So, why are industry plants bothering me so much recently? Well, you might have heard me say this in the beginning of the video. Well, pretty much they're going on XXL and they're kind of making fools out of themselves, or they're making people actually, want to check out the music. I'm not saying you can't listen to an industry plant, but I'm just letting you know it most likely will affect a lot of other people. Now, Icy Norco was one of these people, and right after he went on XXL, he made it look like he was shooting up in sales. How did he do this? He started to viewbot. Now, this kind of annoys a lot of people, but it made XXL think that this man was actually, going to be on XXL. This guy literally thought he was going to be on XXL. But I think XXL, since they didn't put him on, realized immediately that they shouldn't put him on the XXL cover. And if you don't know what that is, I made a whole video on it, pretty much just memeing it. Even though I do have to say, it was pretty good this year. I checked out a lot of those new ones like Tierra, Whack, and all of them. They're pretty great. But I pretty much I made a video on it. You can go check out and see what the XXL cover is. It's pretty much just a cover. Well, I'll tell you, but it's pretty much just a cover where a bunch of people, like it's kind of lost its, point these past couple years, what people are saying. But pretty much it's where people that are, recently rising to fame or XXL see something in these people, or it's just before they blow up, they put them on this cover where they freestyle with a group of other people who, are in the exact same situation as them, where they're just about to take off with their careers. And pretty much this just gives them an extra little boost in their career. It pretty much just, it just helps out their career, a lot. But recently it's lost that mentality, I'd say, ever since 2017. So, I mean, people just haven't really been that happy with it recently. And I can see why. I mean, recently we've had Lil Pump, Blockboy, JB, and Smoke Perp on there. I'm not saying that they're necessarily bad rappers, but they're not the best. I mean, especially Blockboy. He kind of ruined that cover for me. Anyway, Icy Norco tried to fake his plays, and he went way up in streams on Spotify and everything. Now, then there's Skinny from the Nine. Skinny from the Nine is acting like he's this brand new industry plant, when recently he had one hit, and that's really it. He was the biggest one-hit wonder, I'd say, of 2018. And it's hard to even put this guy on the cover, because he only has 4 singles out. And that's literally the exact same thing with Icy Norco. And it's kind of a coincidence that they both only have 4 singles out. They're actually also both from the exact same label. Now, this was at the time. They have more singles out now. But at the time when they were on the XXL freshman cover, they both had one hit, in quotation marks. And, yeah. Anyway, guys, that's really all I have for this video today. There's 2 XXL people who wanted to be on the freshman that kind of bothered me. And on top of that, there's this guy that was on a Travis Scott album, and nobody really knew who he was, and all of a sudden, right after that, song dropped. He got signed to the label of Travis Scott, but he hasn't really released any music yet, so I have a feeling that the second he releases music, he's kind of going to blow up. Muggy's video was on that. You're just going to be able to find that one. It's a lot more popular than Progress's. Just search up Muggy Industry Plants. It's going to be there. But anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Sorry for not uploading in a while. Peace.